Welcome Galactic family. Beloved family members wearing a terrestrial body, we are Arcturians. We speak to you in this now. We wish to remind you that you are beginning your transition. Since there are many expressions of being a human within your now, we, the Arcturians, want to share what we have seen by observing your bravery and creativity. First of all, many of you have mastered the art of staying calm and centered in the face of the great transition. Not only is your outer world changing faster and faster, but your physical body is also changing more and more. Now, these changes are usually not obvious, not even known, but deep down, many of you are beginning to feel as if something changes. Or, you wonder, maybe it's that something has changed within your daily life. The answer, yes to all these components of your life, is changing. These changes are being initiated because their third/fourth dimensional reality of time and space is in transition to their fifth dimensional reality of the here and now. We, the components of the fifth dimension and beyond your true multidimensional self, are watching you from our fifth dimensional ships and our fifth dimensional worlds/homes. You see, within our fifth dimensional consciousness there is no time or space to separate us from the perceptions of your reality. Some of us even visited the third/fourth dimension world, which made us appreciate their courage and tenacity in the face of a great transition. We realize that in some ways mankind has had a more difficult life since they learned our existence because the dreams and inner messages they have received for most of their lives are now revealed as truths and memories. These truths are so close to your hearts and minds, but often so far from your daily life. It is for this reason that we have visited you more often in our ships as well as in your dreams and imagination. Yes, imagination resonates with the frequency of our fifth dimensional reality. In fact, imagination is the language that we, your galactic family, always speak. This fifth dimensional language, which often feels like just my imagination in our daily life, is sent to you in an unconditional love package for each of you to accept and translate in the way that best suits your system beliefs. We wish to remind you that your higher dimensional expressions of consciousness, as well as your own thoughts and emotions, are becoming more and more of the fifth dimension. You may wonder why a particular thought or emotion suddenly enters your mind. We ask that you now begin the habit of listening carefully to these random thoughts, emotions, and what you call the dreams of the day. For this information is often your first conscious experiences of language of light. Language of light is a fifth dimensional language. Therefore, this language is no longer bound by time and space of third/fourth dimension, as there is no time or space in language of light. The language of light resounds in here now and serves as its portal to experience the fifth dimension. We want to remind you that you do not need to go to the fifth dimension, because you are the fifth dimension, just as you also resonate to the sixth, seventh, eighth, and more. However, for many of you, your consciousness has been trapped inside your third-dimensional body, which has been the human body since the Fall of Lemuria. What occurred in the Fall of Lemuria is that the great interdimensional communication that was innate to the Lemurians was lost along with their home on the island of the Pacific Ocean. In fact, many Lemurian people were lost along with the continent. However, more and more Lemurians are deciding to take a terrestrial body within this now, for they see that there is a possible reality resonating for the fifth dimension, just as the Lemurians resounded to the fifth dimension. Now, as Gaia is stepping deeper into the fifth dimension, you are increasingly having memories of your life in Lemuria, in your telepathic communications and in your light bodies that you could alter with your thoughts. Back in their lives in Lemuria, Their language was tones and melody, and their vision was based on patterns of light that flowed and changed. It would be very difficult for a modern person to visit Lemuria, for they could not understand what the waves of light said, nor could they hear the tones that came from all the living trees, plants, lake, and rain. Gaia said then, and if you could understand unconditional love, you could understand how all life spoke to you through the patterns, tones, and flashes of images that were blurred in images and tones. You probably were not aware that it was your ability to love all life unconditionally that allowed and guided you to perceive Gaia just as Gaia perceived your planetary self. Yes, just as you humans can perceive your own human body, Gaia can perceive your own planetary body. We invite all to meditate on remembering their lives in Lemuria, as they were of the fifth dimension, as well as the life that you will soon be creating and entering. As you remember your previous lives of living as one with every life, the 98% of your brain that was closed off from you, will begin to come back. You forgot those old memories because of the many lives on the third-dimensional Earth that was constantly filled with fighting against some country or moving away from some form of indoctrination. In fact, as long as you go back to your first beginnings, this will help you advance to your impending gift. Humanity lived through repeated cycles of birth, gaining power, losing its power, and experiencing death. As you begin to remember your fifth-dimensional and timeless realities, you will regain a great sense of hope and constancy with your whole life. You will feel this constancy with your whole life because you will begin to allow yourself to flow into the ever-expanding fields of energy that you can perceive as you surround and flow, and beyond your whole life. One of the main reasons that life on Earth has been so difficult is that your perception, which was rich and full of color and imagination as a child, has become dim and inconsequential as you get caught up in the many challenges of life daily in the third dimension. Fortunately, more and more you are finding the time to meditate, be creative, write your dreams and express your creativity. When you express your inherent means of creativity, you activate neurons and synapses in your brain that are almost numb from lack of use. When you were a kid, you still remembered your fifth-dimensional creativity. In fact, many of you still remembered your fifth-dimensional self. However, as you grew, you were increasingly judged by the concept of authority figures who told you not to waste your time on your silly imagination. Focus on your homework, clean your room, go to school on time, get good grades, and all the other components of reality that you have been told to do. As you continued to grow, there were more and more things that someone else told you they would have to do. Eventually, doing was the same as caring, and someone else would rate their creativity. Was it good enough for them to like it? You asked yourself. And, every time you asked yourself that question, you have moved farther away from the core of who you are. We, the Arcturians, along with your entire galactic family, are here in this now to remind you that you are the creator of your reality. Oh, but I do not have time to be creative. They will not like my kind of creativity. I will not get good grades if I do not do it the way they want me to do it. And the list goes on until, somewhere on the line, you just give up being you to become the best version that they told you to be. Now, they may feel very happy about this transition, but you do not feel happy. You feel you are exhausted and become who they want you to be. But often, the moment you realize this, you also realize that it is too late to change. You have a family, a position, a reputation, etc., etc. It's too late to go back to being who you really are. You try to tell yourself. But your real, deep, inner self will not have you. And oh, You hear yourself screaming when you wake up from this dream that you still have. And oh, you say to yourself over and over again until you can no longer hear yourself saying that. You finally believe what they said about you above what your own heart and mind are still trying to say. And oh, you yell at you, I have to do this. And oh, you negotiate with yourself. It's too late to change now, I've come a long way, and I cannot change now I just have to go home from work. You turned up the radio volume in the car so you do not have to listen to your US saying, it's never too late to be you. Be me? You yell at the radio, as if you were forcing you to hear this message again and again. But it does not work. You keep on hearing, I need to be me. But what does it mean? You are a good person, and you did what you were told to do. Is not that a good person? You shout at the car radio. You park by the side of the road because you can no longer focus on driving. You cannot see well, but it could not be the tears that are sprouting in your eyes. Then comes the explosions and you start to feel the tears streaming down your face, and you start to cry, then start to sob, and finally you scream. Who is this I that I always am? You're not supposed to be anyone who wants you to be. We just ask, would you like to be yourself? It is. There's nothing like the truth to make you cry like a baby. You cry, and it's so good to recognize why you got so tense. Because you have stomach pain whenever you eat, because you cannot sleep at night or wake up with bad dreams. What you do not realize, though, is why you allowed your life to be that way. I was just trying to enjoy them. You hear yourself say. But who is this they, and where are they now? Are they in the car comforting you? Are they waiting for you at home to comfort you? Can you call them on the phone to comfort you? Your mind runs, I need help, I need some help. You repeat several times. We'll help you. Suddenly you hear. You look around the outside of the car. You look inside the car. You check if the radio is off, if your phone is off. You will not find me out of yourself. You hear a soft, gentle and even loving voice. Who are you? You scream inside the safety of your parked car. But no one is in the car with you. No one is out of your car. There is only you. There is only you and a soft, gentle, inner voice that is saying, I am you and I love you. It is. What remains of your composure is not gone, and you begin to cry, then release, then cry more. Finally, you are exhausted and you put your head back in the seat and close your eyes. Slowly, and so gently, a feeling that you have not felt more than you can tell enters your consciousness. It's been so long since you felt this feeling that you can barely remember it. Slowly, as if someone were guiding you, you remember yourself as a small child playing with your imaginary friend. This imaginary friend began to show images of other lives, other realities, and other versions of his own multidimensional self. These members of his own higher self circled around him and sent him unconditional love. You wanted to cry again, but this time it was not anger, but joy. They, the wonderful friends you had as a child, were real. They were with you in the car, parked beside the long country road that you drove every day. You could not see them with your eyes, but you could feel them with your heart, just like you used to when you were a child. They were exactly the same as before, but you have changed a lot, a lot, a lot. Oh no, you hear inside your heart. You are the one who has changed. We are exactly as we have always been, but you have grown and forgot to look with your third eye and hear with your heart. Now you're sobbing, but not sadness, anger or fear. You're sobbing with joy. When you finally regain your composure, look around to find the source of what you have experienced, but you only find yourself in the car, parked beside the freeway road, but find no one. Where did you go? You ask. We never leave, you hear inside your heart. You just forgot to look inside.